Hey, I know I look rough, but I just haven't been sleeping well. And before you laugh, just promise you'll hear me to the end. I know how this is going to sound, and if anyone else sat here and said this, I'd probably have them sectioned before they reach a halfway point. But I promise you, all this is true. You know that last house I bought at auction to do up? That's it, the old stone cottage at the edge of the village. Well, I found something and it's freaky. No, no, nothing like that stuffed crocodile I found in the pantry. Listen, over time, you learn that every house keeps its secrets, and most of them are harmless, but some should never be uncovered. I'm getting to it. Just be patient, okay? Nothing about the house struck me as unusual at first. The kitchen smelled faintly of lavender polish and old tea leaves. Dust hung in the sunlight like ash. The rooms, they were frozen in time. It was exactly the sort of place I'd cleared 100 times. Until I found the attic. I know. It sounds like a trope out of a really bad B horror movie, but honestly, this is what happened. So at first, the hatch wouldn't budge. When I finally forced it open, I discovered why. There was a padlock on the inside. Think about that. On the inside. It should have been enough to make me walk away, but I didn't. The air that spilled down smelt old, not dusty, older than dust, damp earth, mouldering timber, extinguished candles, and something sweet beneath it all, like flowers left too long on a grave. Against the far wall stood something wrapped carefully in stained oilcloth. It didn't seem abandoned, it was protected. I remember smiling, hoping I'd found something valuable. When I peeled back the cloth, I found a portrait. Just a man in a black suit. Nothing extraordinary at first glance. But then I looked into his face. I've met real live people who felt less alive than that painting. His skin held warmth, his lips looked damp. The brushwork was so impossibly delicate. I found myself waiting for him to breathe. Then his eyes met mine. Yeah, I know people always say paintings seem like they're following you round a room. This wasn't that. He wasn't following me. He was watching me, studging me, as though he'd been waiting for someone to uncover him. I turned the frame over, looking for the artist's signature, and found two letters burnt into the wood. B.H. Yeah, that's him. Basil Hallward, the notorious devil's painter, the one who painted that weird guy, Dorian something or other. Wow. You remember those stories years ago? Collectors dying in impossible accidents, museums refusing to display his work, the rumours that every painting carried a curse, how Hallward believed paint could imprison souls. He claimed death wasn't the ending if the right canvas was prepared. He even painted his final portrait using his own blood. Yeah, I'd always thought it was tabloid rubbish too. I took it home, hoping to sell it at the art auction next month. I wish I'd left it where it was. That first night, I kept it in my dining room. Around 3 o'clock, I woke to footsteps, someone pacing one end of the room to the other. But when I went downstairs to check, there was nothing. No broken window, no intruder, only the painting. Only I could have sworn I'd left it against the opposite wall. I told myself I was tired, but the next morning I looked again. That's when I noticed the hands. Yesterday his hands were clasped behind his back. Now one hand rested against the frame as though he had been trying to climb out of the picture. I stopped sleeping after that. I knew I had to get rid of it. I searched everything I'd recovered from the cottage looking for clues on how to destroy the picture. And hidden inside a box was a diary. It had belonged to Halwood's apprentice. The final entry read, "He is no longer inside the picture. The picture is inside him. I managed to trick him back inside the painting for now. He must not be released again. I cannot sleep for fear he will find a way out." At first, I tried to burn it, but when the flame reached the edge of the portrait, it simply died. The painting stood untouched, not even warm. I then tried to drown it in the harbour. I watched it disappear beneath the black water. When I drive home, it was standing in my hallway, dry, waiting. Finally, I sealed it inside a steel container, poured a load of concrete over it and buried it on that abandoned industrial site. Yeah, that was why I wanted the mixer. I just couldn't tell you at the time. I couldn't tell anyone. And I thought I'd won. Then yesterday, there was this headline in the paper: "Luxury holiday development approved on former industrial site. Excavation begins next month." Sometimes, late at night, I imagine the digger striking concrete, someone finding the steel crate and wondering what could possibly be important enough to bury so deep. I imagine them forcing it open, and I wonder whether he'll still be in the picture.